Bring it to the only company in Ocala that's certified in Apple and Microsoft. Ocala Mac and PC Repair. They even offer on-site computer repair service, so they come to you. And if you do drop it off, you can check your repair status online. Ocala Mac and PC Repair is a family-owned and operated company that can do everything from mobile repair to wireless networks, fixing viruses, data recovery, even building and installing new systems. Visit online at ocalamacpc.com. In person, 1713 East Silver Springs Boulevard, or give them a call, 352-566-8324. That's 352-566-8324. Ocala Mac and PC. Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
All right, 25 minutes before 11 o'clock. Forgive me for letting that bumper music run a little bit long. I just like that piece. All right, one of the things that I realized shortly after I started doing this talk show 15 years ago is that I'm going to learn a lot from our listeners. And I have. I've learned a lot from our listeners who are from I was going to say both sides of the political spectrum, but there's really many sides to the political spectrum, right? One of the things that comes up a lot is the word impeachment. And how come I have a little echo going on right there? And the word impeachment is coming up right now because some people want to. In fact, I think there's a motion in progress, right, for President Trump to be impeached already.
Yes. I'm
not really sure that I understand it, to be honest with you. But then I don't really understand impeachment. If I'm going to be honest with you, I don't really. I know that it's a process by which we remove a president from office. But if you were impeached, it doesn't necessarily mean you were removed from office. I think I got that right. You know who's going to teach me about this is our next guest. Let me just make sure I have everything right here. Do I have the right thing, Robin, here?
Barbara
Radnofsky.
Yes.
The first woman in Texas history to run as a Democrat nominee for the United States Senate in 2006. And the first to run as the Democrat nominee for Texas Attorney General in 2010. A Citizen's Guide to Impeachment. Good morning, Barbara.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
It's an honor to have you on the show. So I'm a little confused. Are you the author of the book now?
Well, yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, God. Oh, I got the wrong cover on the podcast. I'm sorry.
Well, I'll tell you what happened. There's a guy who's written the book, came out just after mine, also called by the same name. So your confusion is completely understandable.
Okay, so
my cover says A Citizen's Guide to Impeachment with my name, Barbara Radnofsky.
Okay, I am so sorry about that. Let me switch the covers here on the podcast while we're talking. So, let me just start with this. When I just described my understanding, you know what? If I were to, I guess, be without a microphone and people were asking me about the Constitution, I would have to say, and not even with the microphone, I don't know why I said it that way, I would say, you know what? I think I know the Constitution, but I don't really, and I certainly don't know much about impeachment. So, is the book to help a guy like me figure it out?
Exactly. And I will tell you that in researching it, I, as a 40-year lawyer, I learned so much, and I realized, despite taking all the constitutional law you take in law school and working as a practicing trial lawyer and doing a lot of other things, including politics, I didn't understand impeachment because there's so many misconceptions. You have to go back to what the Founding Fathers said, and everything you said in your introduction is true. It is a process by which Congress determines whether to remove a high official who's causing harm to us. But The House does the impeachment the way a prosecutor brings charges, and that's called impeachment when a majority of the House votes to impeach. The Senate is the jury and the judge. You'll see sometimes that the Supreme Court Chief Justice sits there. He's just a figurehead for presidential impeachment. The sole power is the House to prosecute, and that's called impeachment in the House. If a majority votes, then they bring the charges as prosecutors, the House do, and they're called managers. They bring the charges to the Senate. They're called articles of impeachment, and the Senate sits as judge and jury and has the sole power to decide whether to vote yes or no on any of those articles of impeachment. And if even one article passes by 2/3 of the Senate, that person, the high officer, is automatically removed from office. It's not a criminal process. It's not a court process. It's a very unique political process that the Founding Fathers, geniuses, adapted from the British law of impeachment, which wasn't at all like the way we do it.
I now have the correct cover on the podcast, so if you saw the earlier one, that guy got a free plug.
Oh, good for him. Good for him.
I'm so sorry about that. But okay, so I have a question.
He's a professor, very smart.
Okay. I have a question for you based on, I guess, my lifetime. Was Nixon impeached?
No, they were fixing to impeach him. As a matter of fact, the House Judiciary Committee had already voted out the articles, and he saw the handwriting on the wall. Nixon was no fool, and so he resigned.
Okay.
The very fact that the House stood ready to impeach is what caused the resignation of Nixon.
Okay.
It's happened with other cases as well. There's been 19 impeachment cases in the history of the United States, and 3 of them, which went to the Senate, 3 of them caused resignations just by the fact that the Senate stood ready.
Really?
Stood ready to have the trial. It is an enormously powerful tool. It's become much more streamlined since the 1980s. Congress has really figured out how to be able to do their job in impeachment and still get the other jobs done. And again, as I mentioned earlier, the sole power of impeachment lies with the House, and the sole power to try the case and either convict or acquit in impeachment lies with the Senate. You can't appeal those decisions to the Supreme Court.
Okay. The 2 cases that I wanted to ask you about, one is with Clinton and one is with Trump.
Yes.
I guess we got something in the works right now that might lead to impeachment. I don't know. But what I wanted to ask, though, about those 2 cases is, since they're both 2 different political parties, with Clinton and with Trump, it seems like it is politics that is fueling the desire to impeach. And I often think, well, that doesn't seem fair. No matter what you think of President Clinton or President Trump, did either one of them do anything that is truly impeachable?
Well, you've said 2 things that are really important. Let me answer the last one first. The decision about what is impeachable doesn't require any intent or wrongdoing by a president. What the Founding Fathers wanted in this process was to have a political process whereby it's not judicial, it's not criminal, it's political. In other words, criminal process can occur on the same set of facts. There's no double jeopardy that applies. So what the Founding Fathers said, James Madison among them most articulately, is you could remove a high officer because of substantial harm he poses to society. Therefore, examples can show you negligence, incapacity, tyranny, corruption, betrayal of trust, conflicts of interest, specific acts where the president abuses his power, like abuses his pardon power, or lying, committing perjury, violating separation of powers. If you don't have time to read the whole book, read page 26 to 29 because I made a list of them. And
okay, so in Clinton's case,
it's just about causing harm, but you have to prove cause of substantial harm. Clinton was impeached because he lied about his personal affairs. He was head of the Justice Department. It was strongly felt that a president who lies was impeachable, and he was causing harm, at least in their opinion. What the Senate did with those charges was review them, and 2/3 of the Senate not on any of the charges did the Senate come to a determination that caused substantial harm to society. It was pretty much admitted the president lied. I mean, and that is impeachable if the lies cause substantial harm to society. The first impeachment conviction in our history in 1804 was a guy who was senile. He had no intent. He wasn't trying to do anything wrong. He was a beloved Revolutionary era judge appointed by George Washington, for goodness sake. But he'd grown senile, and because of the harm he was doing in his rulings from the bench, unintentionally, he was senile, and causing harm to society, the House impeached him, prosecuted him in the Senate. They had a big debate on whether such a treasured figure, Revolutionary era figure, should be convicted, but they recognized the harm he caused to society.
Wow.
And history has so regarded it, although it's highly debated. It was highly debated. There was a lot of confusion for hundreds of years. The Clinton impeachment, which you brought up, is extremely important because it solidified all these issues. One of the House prosecutors in the Senate side was then Congressman Lindsey Graham. And Lindsey Graham praised the process even though it resulted in an acquittal. This is the prosecutor trying to convict Clinton, and the way that Lindsey Graham and the House prosecutors tried the case in the Senate has given us a wonderful idea and really solidified the law, which, by the way, Republican appointee Chief Justice Rehnquist has also praised, even when it results in acquittals, that it's a wonderful process that allows the society to be protected. That's what Alexander Hamilton wrote in the Federalist Papers, and that is the purpose of impeachment. It's really as simple as that. I was amazed. I thought it required a crime or a misdemeanor.
Wow. Me too.
That's amazing.
You've helped me understand a lot more with just that little bit you've said. The one thing I think that I said in the opening is really true, that our listeners have taught me a lot in doing the show for 15 years. So I don't know if you guys out there know about impeachment or not, but if you don't, you got to get this book, A Citizen's Guide to Impeachment. I have a copy. I'd like to give it away to one of you. Call me if you'd like the copy that was sent to me. The rest of us have to go buy it. I found it on Amazon. Do you have a website, Barbara?
Well, the mphbooks.com sells the book, mphbooks.com. My website for the book is called, without the apostrophe, A Citizen's Guide to Impeachment.com. Obviously, I bought it before when we were putting the book out, the other guy wrote his book. So it's called A Citizen's Guide to Impeachment.com. All proceeds go to hurricane relief from my sales. I'm sitting here in Houston. Y'all are in Florida. I know.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, Barbara, you're an amazing lady. If we ever have dinner together, I'm just going to listen. I'm not going to. I'm going to learn something. Huh?
Come to Houston. We'll have dinner, and while you can look at those other citizens' guides to impeachment, I hope you'll check out the Radnofsky one, even though it's a hard name.
And please,
it's a wonderful book.
Please accept my apology for putting the wrong cover on the podcast, but I do have the right one on most of this interview. A Citizen's Guide to Impeachment. Barbara Radnofsky, thank you so much for being on the show with us today.
Thank you kindly.
We will take a break. Be right back.
What do I do now? After 911, don't worry. Call Fakuri. Fakuri Medical and Chiropractic. Treating auto injuries for over 32 years. Same-day appointments, immediate medical attention, all under one roof. Don't worry. Call Fakuri. Go to